off of Tails, who is very obviously going to be the guy they want to destroy, just like last time.
Yeah, I'm not too sure about the Udyr pick in the jungle, what the plan is behind that, because Orianna is just going to be able to speed all of her teammates away from that engagement. So their primary engagement tool is going to be Get Snuggled. So if Get Snuggled gets behind, he's not going to be able to make the plays that he wants to, and they're going to rely on Udyr running up and not having a really good gap closer, like an actual distance closer that just teleports you to that spot. Whereas TWZ has a lot of that, and Bishu... Yeah, Orianna is one of his main squeezes. He's going to be able to do a lot of work with that. And when we saw him throughout the qualifiers, he had a fantastic showing all throughout it, and was really showing why people ban out his Orianna. The shockwaves are really well placed.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, Bishu, top quality. He got in some nice casks in the last game there on Gragas, and this time obviously going to have great ball delivery system all over the place. You got Fiddle, who will be able to hop in. You got Vi and Shyvana, who basically speak for themselves there. And so TWZ, they're set up for success. vVv, obviously, it's one of those setups where you don't really know until they get into it. If they get off to a nice start, it could be great, but that's always the case with Vayne as well. You know, Vayne gets off to a nice start, could work out great for him, could end up being their undoing, especially if they get some early jungle harass, manage to shut Porpoise Pops down. If Get Snuggled doesn't quite get there, then obviously he won't be able to spend as long in the fight, so his utility will dip there. But hey, it's all come down to execution, and we know vVv, they've got the execution, and we'll see if they can do it.
Yeah, and I'm surprised that they don't go for 2v1 lanes a lot of the times with Tails. Like, I think during the qualifiers we would see them, or I guess the round robin, we would see them basically initiating 2v1s where they would put Vayne up into the top lane, but they're not doing that right now. So I don't know if they were trying to call that and put them down in the bottom, or what was the plan around that. But gonna have a straight 2v2, and the last game it didn't work out for them in the laning phase until we had Porpoise Pops come up and have a fantastic gank to start snowballing the game.
Yazaki more than happy to soak up some damage there from Get Snuggled. Gonna drip down to about maybe fourth of the health missing, give or take. A couple of ducats here and there as the farming gets underway in the top lane, and it's one of those things, man. It's really hard to deny a Shyvana, any of that farm. We've seen the Lissandra up top a couple of times. It's been, one time good, one time really bad, at least in the two games I remember. So Lissandra feels like a gamble. We'll see what they can do with it. Of course, vVv got a game to give here. I mean, you don't want to, but certainly not in quite as much risk as TWZ of getting sent down to the third place match. And hey, you're going to have another opportunity even if you go out. So not all bad.
Yeah, and Get Snuggled is no stranger to the Lissandra teleport, because remember last time we saw him play Lissandra, he had teleport, and then mid lane Cheese Beluga was casted in and ran teleport as well. I don't know if that was you or if it was Tom that was there that day. I think it was you. I think it was you. Ugh.
If it's more than 5 minutes ago, I'm just out of it.
Okay.
Get Snuggled's gonna get away with it either. It's I have trouble remembering specifics from earlier in the day. I always kind of have vague. I was like, yes, that did happen. But you watch enough League, and if you can believe it, it starts to blend a little bit together.
They start blending together.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that ADC Annie. Remember that?
Yeah.
Oh,
classic Lithuanian, I think it was.
Yep.
Meta there. Cheese Beluga forward onto Bishu, but Kez going to be coming in out of the jungle, back it away, and first blood will be avoided there as Cheese Beluga and Bishu both probably sign a little sigh of relief. Said sigh twice, it's fine.
Yeah.
It works.
He probably did it twice at that one. Ooh, the flash from Bobby. Or from Nidus, actually.
And Nidus remain now in a little bit of trouble as Porpoise Pops running the front there. Can't quite catch it up. The teleport down. Going to come in from Get Snuggled here with Shyvana up top, so they're going to have to keep this force strong. Are they going to be able to, though? Tail's a little bit low. Get Snuggled recalling. Could make it up top before too much damage. That minion line's going to come in just the right time there. Keep Shabambo off of the turret, at least partially. Yazaki will get a little bit of time with it, but Get Snuggled on the way back up. So the teleport spent for naught. It's going to be dead even around the field, money-wise. And right now, top lane, a 20 CS lead for Yazaki up over Get Snuggled, who spends a teleport to go bottom and gets nothing for it.
Yeah, left him out in the cold, but you know what? Dragon's just going to turn on his little burnout there, push all that wave in. Highest CS in the game right now. Twice as much as Get Snuggled has. A little more than that as well. But he got nothing for that teleport, so it's a wasted summoner spell. He doesn't have any kill potential in lane for the most part because he doesn't have Ignite, whereas Yazaki has a little bit of an edge in that one. And he picks up a Negatron cloak on his first back. So there's even less kill potential here for Get Snuggled. So he's going to have to farm and look for plays in other lanes. Or get a gank. You know, it's quite possible, but I don't know if that's going to work. And Udyr trying to close the distance on a Shyvana, I don't know how that's going to work out for Porpoise Pops if he tries it.
Yeah, especially with no flash now. As that bottom lane attempt was hot and heavy out of vVv, but...
he got both of theirs, though, and he's coming around.
Gonna try to walk it in. Looks for Bobby Hank kill. Stun's gonna land, but not before the dash finishes. And he'll have to check out, head back into the jungle, and probably pay another little visit down the bottom side. But for now, still just gonna be a dead even game gold-wise. And up top, you still got Get Snuggled in a little bit of trouble. The CS advantage right now gonna belong a little bit to Tails, but mostly to mid lane, as Kha'Zix sitting high on a 50 CS over 38 lead. Got Bishu starting to get back into it, though, as he's ramping up a little bit with the double door ring.
Yeah, he's trying to ramp up, get that little early game. He has 2 cloth armors to get that little bit of resistance against Cheese Beluga. That's going to turn into a Seeker's Arm Guard and eventually a Zhonya's Hourglass, but that's going to delay his Athene's Unholy Grail, which is a typical pickup on Orianna because she's very mana intensive. So when he throws it out, it's going to be able to give him CDR, mana regen. And as I look across the map, Kez just warded the blue buff, and he might be trying to get that away from Cheese Beluga when it comes up, which he just did. So he's actually going to swap back there.
Hanging out in the area. Orianna going to have to swing over. Kha'Zix will be around as well. Kez might run into some friendly faces. But Kez on the bottom side of it, red ping onto it as they know he's in the area. Sends a missile out. Kez is going to catch that one on the front. They've got a ward on the top side brush, so they will see it. Cheese Beluga going to have to bide his time here. Under attack goes the blue buff. Porpoise Pops not going to be able to get it there. It goes over to Kez. They spend the smite to get it with Nidus Remain and Bobby Hank Hill coming up. Just making sure that vVv could not contest there, and TWZ will walk away with a blue buff.
And vVv, basically, they're like, it's not worth it at this point. They would just give it over to them, and we can maybe make some plays later. Early game doesn't seem to be their forte, whatever you guys want to call it. I call it fort, but it's not their fort. Their late game, their team dynamic is really what they focus on. It's really what
they tend to roll into the sort of like solid mid game, down 2,000 gold and a couple of turrets, and then they just turn it around once they're able to get off the laning phase, basically. Once they can really start moving around, when the laning phase is over proper and everybody's moving around the map, that's when vVv really comes alive. Gonna catch Dark Wind there. Bobby Hank kills, sends some damage Tails his way, and he's gonna keep trying to farm it up behind the turret, giving him plenty of room there, paying a lot of respect to the bot lane duo TWZ. And again, vVv not going for a lane swap in this one, just playing it 2v2 style, and they're able to keep pace, but Tails not exactly running away with the gold at the moment. 54 to 51 on the CS counter. Is going to be able to get into his build a little bit more quickly there, though, as Lucian went for the double Doran's open.
All right, so I talked about the Athene's Unholy Grail on Bishu. So instead of that, he decides, I don't need the magic resist in this matchup against Cheese Beluga. It's a wasted stat and wasted gold. I'm going to go for the Tear of the Goddess. Since I have blue buff, I'm going to constantly charge that up with my W while I'm getting back to lane. Command attacks. I'm going to get that charged up extremely quickly, turn it into an Archangel Staff and Seraph's Embrace. So he didn't want the Athene's Unholy Grail. He says, this is just as good, which is the opposite, which is like the, not the opposite, but the other pickup. Since I have blue buff, I'm going to constantly charge that up with my W while I'm getting back to lane. Command attacks. I'm going to get that charged up extremely quickly, turn it into an Archangel Staff and Seraph's Embrace. So he didn't want the Athene's Unholy Grail. He says, this is just as good, which is the opposite, which is like the, not the opposite, but the other pickup. Since I have blue buff, I'm going to constantly charge that up with my W while I'm getting back to lane. Command, and that's going to be a great pickup there. I was thinking about mentioning it, but he does it, and so I attacks. I'm going to get that charged up extremely quickly, turn it into an Archangel Staff and Seraph's Embrace. So he didn't want the Athene's Unholy Grail. He says, this is just as good, which is the opposite, which is like the, not the opposite, but the other pickup, and that's going to be a great pickup there.
Game once he gets it charged up, it'll give him that nice shield as well. Cheese Beluga gonna hop over the ball and give Bishu some work to think about. Gonna pop him in, keeps Cheese Beluga close. Porpoise Pop spins the flash for not. Ked's gonna bring the ult out. Will fling Cheese Beluga over. The missile gonna heal back the damage he took, more or less. A teleport to mid from Get Snug too little too late. Second teleport of the game is burnt, but they're gonna roll it down towards Dragon and see if they can't make good. Yazuki really coming in close on the other side of that one. It's going to be Get Snugged with keeping things far and away here for TWZ. Want to come in. They've got ward coverage. Get Snuggled. Holding on. Dragon's already gone, and he'll be able to walk away. E over the wall, and out he goes.
That pink ward that Kez put down in that bush on the right, on the side of red, doesn't give him enough vision to really make that pink worth it. You could probably placed it in the river-ish area, a little more to the left by Wraiths, or actually further to the right, but it's just a bummer when you place a ward down in a bush and it doesn't work the way you want it to. A little bit
get
of
a little flump.
Yeah.
It just goes flump, and you don't get the vision you were expecting, and you go,
That sucks.
Because you feel the money fly away for nothing.
Yeah, but it's still going to give him vision of that area, no wards to pick up. So he'll be able to see if Porpoise Pops makes a rotation there, so it's not completely wasted. But at the same time, the dragon goes over to vVv. I think it's the first dragon of the game going over to them. Now they have the 1k, not a 1k, sorry, 400 gold lead. I don't know why I was going to say 1k there.
You felt like it's 11 minutes in. That was a dragon grab. They should probably be somewhere around there, but no.
I had one in my head because it was one dragon.
One dragon, then you just were like, yeah, he's one dragon's worth 1k.
One dragon, okay, yeah, but they were behind.
So, it's a very, very tight game here. Yazuki now proxy farming, and looks like Get Snuggled just going to walk it out and do pretty much the same thing on the other side there. As Yazuki in great shape, 100 CS, first to hit it. But we are 11:45 in without a first blood grab, so not a ton of information on how this game's going to go one way or another. Obviously, Porpoise Pops hasn't been able to get much done, and he's showed a little bit of presence around the map. Cheese Beluga is going to come in, put some hurt on the Bishu, back it away, but we haven't seen him get anything done. Team fight phase could be a different story, as a lot of TWZ is going to rely on throwing themselves into the fray, at which point Udyr will not have to chase them down as much as just stand there and wait for them to come to him, but we'll see if it works out there.
And Get Snuggled getting pushed back. He caught up in CS at this point, so he's about 10 down. And he's still looking really great in that top lane. We're going to have the Spectre's Cowl coming out for Yazuki. Might turn that into a Spirit Visage or a Banshee's Veil. You can go with either. I'm not sure which would be more beneficial for him in this situation. Since Shyvana is basically a cooldown champion, increased cooldown from the Spirit Visage might be good. But at the same time, Banshee's Veil would be a good pickup to avoid at least one spell. So I'm not sure. You can go with either.
Starting to press a lead now over Tails, who's been just a touch behind all game long. The Dragon Gold going to help even that out a little bit. Obviously, as the global gold lead, still going to belong to vVv here, in spite of the fact that they are down in pretty much every lane except the jungle. Porpoise Pop's been working that jungle over, though. 70 CS to the 49 there. It's 86 to 96 down bottom, with Vayne trailing as the threat of Nidus remained. Bobby Hank Hill's Lucian, just a little bit too much for them to hang in with it. Tails been taking a lot of poke over the course of this game so far. Gachu helping soften up the lane, though, to send it back the other way. Porpoise Pops the top brush just to clear some wards away. And vVv will reset, get back to farming it up.
And so Blue Buff going to go over to Bishu once again. Has the Seeker's Arm Guard completed, and his tier is about a fourth of the way charged. So he is in a good place here. Actually, it's about a third of the way charged now that I look at it. So he's just going to clear out these waves, continue to charge that up, and scale into the late game. And Cheese Beluga looks like he might be going for... He could get Merc Treads. Don't think there's that much CCS to worry about aside from the fear. But that might be enough for him to buy that. Or he's buying a Hex Drinker. One of the two. Both would be great in this situation.
Guys working down a red buff. We'll get that one cleared away. 600 gold lead for vVv on the overall, and part of that going to be the dragon that they have an advantage, showing that the CS numbers for TWZ closing down what lead would have existed. Just a little bit there. Top and mid lane, the big leads right now. Actually, yeah, all three farming lanes well out front for TWZ right now. 110 CS to 96, as Tails just can't get in. Bobby Hank Hill really aggressive with the threats there. 133 to 122 in the mid lane. 126 to 118 up top. Kudos, I gotta say, though, to Get Snuggled for keeping in there on the CS count. Still, no first blood, 14 and a half minutes in, and the longer you go without a first blood, the more those team fights just really pile on, because not only is it going to be a lot of people off the field for a lot longer time, it's going to be a morale issue, too. You know, 14 and a half minutes, you start thinking, man, I want to pick that up.
Pick a kill up, pick a tower up, something. There's been nothing this entire game. No turrets, no kills, nothing. It's all CS right now, and it's basically coming out to who has champions that scale into the mid-game better. Because I don't know if it's going to be explosive in the mid-game, or if they're looking for a really, really late-game thing. Like, we're not going to see anything happen until 20 minutes. So
yeah, it's It's one of those things, man. It's been a long time since we've seen the 20-minute laning phases. These used to be bog standard for a while there. Gotcha going to come walking forward. Nidus Remain decides to put the fear on him, and that's going to give time for Corpus Pops to get into the pile. It's Snuggled in a little trouble up top. Nidus Remain, down he goes. First blood to Tails. Body Hank Kill caught up. Going to get a stun and the box. He's running away. Corpus Pops not going to let it happen. Finishes the job. And that time spent heads down in the jungle, farming it up to 82 CS. Going to pay off for him there as he goes 101. Get Snuggled and Yazuki still poking at each other up top. Kez is going to join the party. Going to drop the ult. And nice answer by Get Snuggled. He's going to lock him up and walk it away. Get Snuggled putting some room in there. Yazuki with a chase. Beautiful jukes. Get Snuggled staying alive forever. Is it going to be enough? No, Kez gets away and grabs the kill. Cheese Beluga up for the revenge ring as they answer it back. All that time spent's going to give vVv time to push in on bottom inner. My God, Get Snuggled played that one to the bone all day long, keeping Yazuki and Kez running every which way. Beautifully done.
And they're going to get another turret down bottom here for vVv. They're going to go 2 for that one. 2 for 1.
2 for 1, they end up going 3 for 1 around the field. Cheese Beluga and Bishu going at it. Ignite's burning. Gonna have to spin the ult, the red buff, and Ignite. Not enough for Cheese Beluga to finish the job. A little too close, and Cheese Beluga doesn't want to try it on. Bishu runs low. They will just call it back there, and he will reset. Dragon now, second of the game, looking to go to vVv uncontested. It's Vi, too far out. And they will get Cheese Beluga under the turret as he goes for Bishu. Finally, red buff not enough to finish the job.
He went for it, and he's probably sitting there going, Bishu had barrier. He had barrier that entire time. Saved his life. Shields himself, barriers. Cheese Beluga, not enough. We have Kez coming up for the save on that. Was that Kez? That was Kez.
Yes.
I thought it was Yazuki.
No, it was Yazuki in mid lane.
Yeah, it was Yazuki. It was Yazuki in the mid lane, which threw me off. It was like the jungler's coming up. No, it's the top lane.
I looked at where Kez was, and it broke my memory for a second. I was like, maybe it was Kez.
He was in middle afterwards, so he came to hold that lane as Bishu backed. So Yazuki, once again, rotating to the top lane. Great play all around. Like I said, explosive mid-game. Last minute, 5 kills have happened, and 3 turrets have been taken.
And you got to see where that ends it up. 3,000 gold lead now for vVv, who are out front 500 gold for the better part of 5 minutes there. All of a sudden, exploding out to a 3K gold lead. It's one of those things that can tumble downhill very quickly as the game rolls on, because a kill pickup or 2 or 3 means a lot of action around the field. Yazuki trying to work down the turret, gets Snuggled, putting on as much damage as possible, clears the lane, and we'll get Yazuki to back it up. But there's a fiddle hanging out in that brush. Keds coming up. It looks like they want to answer it back, pick up a second turret of their own.
So trying to clear this out. Nidus Remain up in the top lane. He's got his ultimate charge.
Gonna have to stand there for a minute, wait for the fear to get done. W, and just gonna wait it out. Not a lot he could do there. Teleports in, but it's not going to be a respawn. Still 30 seconds on the respawn timer, so no way to up top, obviously, before that went down. Very fragile looking turret. TWZ now going to push it in, get themselves a turret. Just wouldn't be a vVv game if they didn't end up on the bad side of a turret count at least once. And that'll be, they got time. No, running low on minions. Don't really have time to finish this one off. Maybe. Be very close if they tank it out a little bit. Porpoise Pop's going to come in. They'll tank it out. Fear's there. And they'll clear away top side inner turret. Yazuki catches a stun. Going to run after Nidus Remain. They've got Kha'Zix on the way up. And coming Thresh and Vayne as well. Yazuki going to get stunned. Cheese Beluga going to be able to come over the wall on this one. In he comes. Flash forward by Yazuki. He'll give him a little bit of room to run. Got you. Hook not going to land. Tails in with the lantern. They're going to continue to chase. Tails forward. Going to flash in. Nice answer here by TWZ. They're going to go 3 for none. Big turn right there. Cheese Beluga got to go on the run. Nice counter coordination by TWZ. As he trying to collapse on it. Pay the price. Tails on the wrong side of that play.
Yeah, Tails ended up getting feared into the worst position possible. And then Kez came in with an assault and battery, and the ball was slapped on. Perfect shockwave there to lock up 3 members of vVv. Just well played by them all around.
They're out the jungle. The minion line's not in the right spot for them to really capitalize any further. They will be able to clear away the mid lane, but not going to be able to grab it any further. Anything still. 3 for none grab. Going to turn the fight around. Now 1.2k gold lead for TWZ. It looks like they might start falling behind. A big 3k gold lead out in front of vVv, but very nice answer back right there. TWZ back in this one in a big way.
Yeah, only about a 1k gold difference between these teams. And TWZ has a little bit of a lead only because 2 dragons have gone over to the side of vVv. they're behind in turrets and they're behind in kills. But CS across the board seems to be a little bit in favor of TWZ at this point. Get Snuggled hasn't been getting much in the last couple of minutes. vVv going for a Baron here. Oracles, they cleared it out.
A little bit of time, but he doesn't take a good call on this one. Porpoise Pop's hanging it out with a plum, but it's just taking too long to work through it. Nidus or Main, gonna catch a little speed boost there, puts the fear on the Porpoise Pops. He's got a lantern, he'll get clear okay. It's a crazy
Baron.
20-minute Baron look.
They went for it, and TWZ sniffed it out.
Yeah, very. I mean, that's one of those where even without lane presence, might let that one go. But it does pull TWZ away from bottom inner. They'll be able to go 4v4 in the mid lane as they're going to send Yazuki back. Going to go hide. There we go. Lissandra going to get out clean as TWZ call it away. Nice little game of chicken there that vVv end up winning.
vVv all going to back off of this. Kazak's sitting on about 1,800 gold. So
he's in shape to.
He has a buy ready.
He's finish up a maul. He could finish up. What do you call that one? With the axe, black something.
Black Cleaver.
There you go. It's just too many.
I don't think he's going to buy that just yet. Yeah. Black Cleaver, you buy that when the enemy stacks armor because it's multiplicative because it reduces a percent of the armor, whereas Last Whisper is just a big percent of it. Constantly, doesn't matter who it is, whereas Black Cleaver's like, I gotta hit a high priority target. Granted, they're both percentages, but the difference between having a Brutalizer and having a Black Cleaver isn't that big. So it's usually one of the last items you pick up. Just like he sits on a Hex Drinker right now, he's not gonna turn that into a Maw of Malmorius because it's not cost effective compared to other things he could pick up. So,
Last was Tails taking a ton of damage there in the mid lane off of Bishu, and Godshu gonna take a couple shots himself. Snuggle will roll forward to direct. Q's going to land, and they're going to start it up on the good Snuggle. Ult's going to get him out of that fight. Yazuki gets popped onto the far side. Box dropped. It's vVv going to go into full retreat there. Thresh picked off by Nidus or Main. vVv not going to give up the front, but they'll grab one for nothing. And all in the mid lane here, looking to come down and grab an inner turret.
It looks like the Seraph's Embrace finally completed on Bishu, turned it into the Archangel's, or Archangel Staff turned into the Seraph's Embrace here. They're ready to dive.
On the Tails, they're going to try and wipe them off the field. Kev's going to get the job done. Porpoise Pop's going to join him, and there stands, getting it out. Kazak's going to pick up Lion, will short the chase on a Porpoise Pop, turns around, puts the stun down. Bishu going to be able to get away from Cheese Beluga. Maybe. Oh! This will through the wall, and he's got the hop to get out. Porpoise Pop still alive as Yazuki just gonna have to get stunned up under turret. Yazuki finally has to call it away. Cheese Beluga's still getting chased to the top side. Mid-inner gonna come under attack. Godshu's back up, but not threatening enough to clear away these damage dealers. Can Nidus or Main get this kill onto Cheese Beluga? Over the wall he goes.
He's using all of his flask, his crystalline flask right now, to get enough mana to have leaps. Nidus, you gonna try to turn it?
Fear's in there, drains in, and Cheese Beluga walking away. Yazuki there gets the E. Nidus or Main in trouble. No, not enough. Finally falls.
That was so close.
Time. That was the order of the day right there. Mid-inner still falls.
That was so close. Yeah, mid-inner goes down. 4 turret lead now for TWZ. 3k gold lead, but vVv looking to take the dragon and try to even that up just a little bit.
Not going to shake it. Not going to start playing it overly defensive on the back of that pickup there. As TWZ, I'm starting to wonder, do they have their number? They've been trying to get to vVv fights that in other situations they would have won. TWZ staying very well grouped up and committing to fights. Not giving it up too early, and it's really paying off from kills to 5. They're up 2.7k gold on the backside of that dragon crab. It's not out the field of fun. But again, vVv finally getting pushed up against the wall, or is this just their mid-game problem? We had a very long early game, as it was 15 minutes before we saw first blood, so could this just be their 2k gold deficit that they expected?
And we had the Zonia's Hourglass finally finished for Get Snuggled here. He's going to be able to go in and have that invulnerability for himself. So a lot of times we see Lissandra build a DFG, and that's the offensive build for her, but he's going to be able to go ahead and get that Zonia's Hourglass and have the defensive build when he dives. So like I was talking about earlier at the start of the game, Get Snuggled is their primary diver, so if he doesn't have the items that he needs to pull that off, then vVv is going to fall behind. And right now they are 2k gold behind, and they're getting a turret up top. And it looks like TWZ went to go check on the dragon, but it's gone.
And they'll end up paying the price of that top outer turret. vVv swinging in that direction in case there's any sort of coordination. They're going to go into the Baron pit. Bottom outer going to fall to Shyvana. As the jungler is away, vVv going to play, starting it up. God's going to take a good chunk of damage off of Bishu here. Who's put hurt out. He's going to spin the ult. Midas remain over the wall with the ult there. Kez on the Godshield backside of the fight. They're going to group things up. Porpoise Pops and get snuggled into the front of the pile. They're going to get Vi off the field. vVv now with a chance to turn this around. Porpoise Pops runs low, taken out right there by Bishu. They can't find a way into it. Then going to put him out the far side of the fight. Cheese Beluga back in. Midas remain low. But vVv just can't find it. The kite too strong from TWZ. In goes Lissandra. Out goes Lissandra. Kazakh's under very serious duress right now as they chase it down. Yaz's not going to let him go away. Hexdrink are going to buy him a little bit of time, but not enough. Bobby Hank Hill picks up one more. They've got their jungler in and strong. 4 off the field for vVv, and TWZ now with a chance for a Baron grab.
TWZ is going to be able to take this Baron pretty much uncontested at this point. Tails the only one alive. And this is looking like TWZ's game right now. If they get a Baron, they're going to have about that 5k gold lead and those extra stats. They'll be able to start pushing it up. They've been in the driver's seat for most of this, and they're just extending that lead at this point.
TWZ been doing a nice job there. We still a little bit of a hesitation on vVv. They were spread a little bit awkwardly, largely because Kez ended up on the far side of that fight, and they ended up getting Kez, who now is going to be up in time for a Baron grab. So all 5 members of TWZ spinning Baron. But Kez ends up on the far side of that fight, so the rest of vVv couldn't really afford to engage. Get Snuggled and Porpoise Pops did their best to bide the time, but TWZ just a little too in and out on that one with Kez at the far side of the fight. The focus was split and vVv paid the price.
Yeah, and we have a lot of armor here coming out for Yazuki. He's basically focused on that and the Randuin's Omen. Once again, aiming his build at shutting down Tails. And Tails hasn't been having a great game this game. Yazuki has been having a great game. He's level 18, 307. Tails, level 13. 5 levels lower than Yazuki, whereas previously he was the same level. So they haven't been able to get that snowball going. So if vVv wants to win this game, it's going to be a long game for them. Whereas TWZ, the game would end much faster in their favor if they start pushing it. Whereas vVv, they're looking for that long game.
Yeah, still got a lot of map to clean up. 3 turrets to 5. Then all the outer, mid-outer still standing. Bishu going to get locked up. Cheese Beluga waiting there for the zone. He's going to finish through. Going to drop the shockwave. Put some good damage down. Tails finally in good position to the back of the fight. Kez goes down. They pop it. Bishu going to fall to Tails as well. Midas remain down to Tails. Triple kill right now as Tails going to get on the board the big way. Yazuki's going to have to hop over. Pick up the support, but everybody low on the vVv side. They have got to disengage this one in a big way. Bobby Hank Hill grabs 2. He's going to look for 3 now. Get snuggled. We're going to Yazuki. No, triple kill for Bobby Hank Hill to answer back the triple from Tails. 3 for 3. All of them going to the 80 carries there. 4-3-3 on Tails. 6-1-6 on Bobby Hank Hill, who's in good shape. They are just going to brute force mid-inhibitor turret.
Bishu.
Not happy to let it happen.
Yeah, they're just going to brute force it down. Very, very close. Got to push the minion wave up a little bit here. Porpoise Pops and Cheese Beluga to defend. And they're not going to be able to push it out.
And as you were saying, something about Bishu, it's worth mentioning that zone just bought a lot of time for TWZ to group up.
And the Seraph's Embrace on him.
Yes.
Both of them. The extra shield on top of his shield, on top of his barrier. On top of his invulnerability. He's just not... Cutting. Yeah, he's a primary target that's really hard to take down. Especially with somebody like a Kha'Zix, who thrives on just destroying somebody very quickly and then getting out of the fight because he's squishy himself. Not going to happen on Bishu.
Look for Yazuki here. Cheese Beluga and Godstream waiting on it. He's by himself. Dragon's got a long run. It's there. Ready. Yazuki looks suspended. I just accept his fate on this. Pulling out of the old Yazuki. There's a lot of help. Cheese Beluga not going to let it happen. Fear comes in on Midas. He's going to collapse on this. Kha'Zix might be on the way out of there. Out of the lantern. Tries to get back in range for it. Runs out of time. Down he goes. Cheese Beluga overextends.
They're standing on top of that lantern, so he couldn't get it. Kez looking for something here. Nidus over the wall.
Gonna fear him up. Gotcha gonna have to stand with it. Down he goes. Bishu picks up one more. 4-2-10 now on Bishu. 256 CS. Not leading the game though, as it's gonna be Yazuki's 285 that runs things out front. Big numbers on the back of TWZ here, though. The farm is immense, and now there's 6,500 gold in the lead. Going to see the first of the rebuffs against vVv that we've seen pretty much all for the long.
Mid inner goes down, or I guess mid inhibitor turret. Yeah, TWZ getting to that point. 8k gold lead. Going to close it out here.
And they're both still in play on a couple. Got Bobby, Hank Hill, and Yazuki spinning it. Pretty much the two you're going to want to have front liner and main damage dealer. Ganshu looking for a way out of this one. It is just a rare day to see somebody come back from an 8k gold deficit. 31 minutes off the clock, and TWZ still in very good shape. That gets another teleport. Just never really managed to pay any dividends there. Spent a lot of time working on getting Shyvana out to a nice little CS lead. Shyvanas tend to have trouble with that department. Really leading the TWZ front line.
They're just going to keep sieging this up. Super Minion's going to come down the mid lane. The side lanes are going to naturally push because 3.13 buffed side lane minions when you get an inhibitor. Dragon's up once again, so if TWZ do back off, they'll be able to get a dragon on their way out. vVv, it's now or never, I think.
Gotta make a decision here. If they can turn a fight their way, it'll be good. Big shockwave. Yazuki's gonna come in onto it late. But Snuggle dropped low enough that the Zonians is gonna be out early. Cheese Beluga gonna go into the fight. Yazuki pushed out the far side. They're doing what they can to focus the big dragon lady. Tails can't quite get the job done though, and Yazuki will walk out. Nidus or Main, not gonna fall that one over the wall. Kez charging up a Q. Gonna run out of time on that one though, as vVv's pushed away. Just too much front line, too much gold difference. As there's nothing they can do about that Yazuki. Yazuki flying in and just staying there. There's a name gonna fall here as Kez gonna go a little low as well. Cheese Beluga hops in for two. Bobby Hank Hill now getting chased down. Porpoise Pops wants to catch it up. Bishu coming in from the side. They'll put the slow down and get Porpoise Pops off the field with a nice little look. Gets snuggled running out. Yazuki not going to be able to finish the job as the E gets it clear. Ganshu picks up one. Tails onto Bishu. Not going to get it done as Yazuki will. And that was the Sunfire Cape that got things finished off there. Bishu takes the final nail, puts it in the coffin, Ganshu down, and that'll be the end of that fight. Don't even know what the numbers were on it, but it's going to end up 22 kills to 12. A lot of base cleanup here for vVv.
I think it was a 3 for 4 in the favor of TWZ. Because Cheese Beluga stayed back, and he ended up trying to defend the base. I think Get Snuggled went down there as well, very early on. Ended up... I know, actually, did he go back? I don't know. It might have been just a 3 for 3.
TWZ pause here.
It was a 3 for 3, I believe, with Get Snuggled getting out easily.
The crime scene reconstruction incident.
Yep, since we're paused, I was able to go back and just check it out. Because there was just so much action happening down in that bottom lane. And Bishu using the Seraph's Embrace and the Zonias once again to save himself and bait Tails into a bad situation there because he overstayed his welcome at that point. And Cheese Beluga wasn't around to pick up those kills very swiftly and burst them down because he had to go defend the base. It's a little bit of a split there.
Paul's going to finish, and we'll get back into this one. 8,000 gold, the lead right now for TWZ. Could be too little, too late for vVv. They managed to rebuff the advances just this once. They have not finished the job in any convincing manner for quite a while. Had a couple of fights that went their way early in the game, but since the laning phase has ended, it's been all TWZ all day. A very steep contrast to the first game.
Yeah, very steep. It's basically the tables are turned on this one. vVv aren't completely out of it just yet because that team fight, but they do have 2 inhibitors down, so it looks like it's just going to be a very slow choke here, and TWZ is just going to take them out very, very slowly.
Part of the problem here, Yazuki, the one they need to get a pick on, and Yazuki unpickable. Such a huge part of the fight. If they can find Bobby Hank Hill or Bishu out, we'll get a lot of damage out of the fight, but Yazuki just able to force the back line away.
And it looks like full builds are coming out here for most people, just getting to that point very, very soon. And it looks like Baron's up, TWZ ready to contest it. If vVv can get a steal on this, but I don't think it's going to happen because Super Minion's pushed into the base from 2 lanes.
Red ping onto it, they stop the recalls. And Lantern over the wall just in time to see Baron disappear. So vVv will go back to spring cleaning.
And it looks looks like they're just going to systematically pull them apart at this point. Pull people into other lanes because of the super minions and just push that top lane. And then eventually close out the game. Once you get 3 inhibitors, those double super minions in every lane are just completely devastating. It's perpetual pressure on every lane that you can't deal with. So, TWZ looking to end the game in about the next 5 minutes, I'd say tops.
They grab the QSS, his tails, and yeah, not a lot of answer. They're going to have to really kind of make this inhibitor turret their last stand. Corpus Pop's just going to go for it. Yazuki, knowing what he's supposed to do, then going to put him out of the fight for a hot minute. Corpus Pop's getting beat up on the far side of the fight. vVv just can't engage it quite right. They take Yazuki down to half health for whatever it's worth. But look at Yazuki regenning so hard. The numbers are popping up.
Yeah, it's because he has the Spirit Visage, which is going to increase his health regen. And since he has enough, it's popping up. It's just enough of a number. Normally you don't see it.
Gonna lock down Bobby, Hank, Hill. Cheese Beluga goes in, but can't get the job done. Gets snuggled to the backside of the fight before V1 as they finally get Yazuki off the field. But Bishu gonna pick up a quick double kill. Corpus Pops can't get out. Double right there as Lucian grabs one. Super Minion's already in the base, and we go to a game 3 as you can see. Find a way to put a little dent in the armor of vVv there, and Cheese Beluga, he's gonna save it. He's gonna say, nope, somehow he gets taken out there.
Finally gets his arch nemesis, Nidus Remain.
Nidus Remain taken off the field. 1-1 goes the game count on the overall. We'll see. Game 3 gonna decide everything about who's moving along,